Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to True Talk Tuesday, where we get the real deal on real estate. And yes, I know we did numbers about 2 weeks ago for the end of the year, but it is time again for us to review the monthly numbers. Now, I will say they did not update, so you're not going to see a sun stat. You know how I normally put like an infographic on my Facebook page? You're not going to see that this time. What I did was I pulled another report from my MLS, so that way I would have more up-to-date numbers. So we're going to talk about whether or not is the market still neutral? Is the market changing for the buyers? Is it changing for the sellers? And I looked up on NerdWallet, which I like NerdWallet. Call me crazy, but I like NerdWallet. NerdWallet, what is today's 30-year fixed rate? So we are going to talk about what the interest rates did over the last week. So, as always, let me know you're here. Say hello in the comments. Let me find my little commenters there. All right. Say hello in the comments. This is going live, by the way, on Facebook and YouTube. So I will see your comments from both sides. I'm super excited that I figured out how to do this, so that way we can get a little bit more. Also, I want to announce that next week I have a guest that is going to be coming on to the show, and I'm can't wait. I can't wait, because I've been saying since the beginning of this that I wanted to pull in like an inspector, right? Let's talk to an inspector and find out exactly what are they looking at when they go and inspect the house, so that way a seller can kind of go ahead and go, "Oh, I need to get all that done," right? And it's always better to get it from the actual person that does the job. So we will have Emily Bultman. Sorry, Emily. Um, she will be on the show next Tuesday, so I'm super excited about that. I reached out to her, and there's a lot of male inspectors, and I work with a lot of male inspectors, and they're great. I've worked with Emily as well. She is great. And I don't know, I would like to have another female inspector on the show. I'd like to have a female inspector on the show. Why? Girl power, man. Look, I was a Gen X kid, right? So that was a very common theme for Gen X kids. But let's talk about what we're seeing. What's going on? Are we still in a neutral? I pulled this report. I'm going to add this to the screen so you can see it. I pulled this report today that actually will tell you what's going on in Lakeland. In Lakeland, currently, we have 344 homes for sale. The median asking price is $319,900, so just call it 320. New homes listed in the last 30 days. There's 77 new homes. There's been 73 that sold. All right. And the number of days to sell is 40. Now, this is a big deal, because if you've been following for the past couple of months, that number has been higher than 40. That number has been 47, 67. Like it's been up there, right? So the fact that this is coming down, this is exciting. This is exciting because this means that we have more buyers currently coming to the market. And from what I saw of the fixed rate, there's an absolute reason why we've got buyers. And I've had an influx of buyers this week contact me and say, "Hey, we're ready to pull the trigger because things are looking good." I agree. Things are looking great. Oh, hey, Edna, how are you? How are you guys doing? By the way, Edna is a cousin of mine. So I'm like, "Hey, what's up? How's the family?" If you're from the South, you get that, by the way, where you're like, "How's your family? How's your mama?" Right? That's what we do in the South. Everybody, by the way, if they know my mama, they will look at me and go, "How's your mama? How's your mama?" My mama's good, all right? I love my mama. Edna, I am doing great. I have been busy, busy, busy. Something I'd like to share with you guys on here is last week I told you that I was chosen to be on the Lakeland Association of Realtors education committee, right? Which was great. And I have another committee that I was selected to be on. So I am on Lakeland Association of Realtors Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and I am so stinking excited about that. Like, I am stupid excited about that one, okay? So I have been a little busy, and if I seem a little discombobulated today, it's because the last 2 weeks have been crazy, crazy busy. Like I said, I had a lot of buyers wake up. Reason why a lot of buyers have woken up for me is I'm going to share with you what NerdWallet has as far as today. And if Sarah's watching, Sarah, you can chime in. If one of my other lenders, Tyler, if you're watching, like, chime in for me. But as of today, good credit. All right. We're not talking about everybody's credit. This is just like optimal. All right. You got the optimal 30-year fixed rate, 5.94%. You heard me, guys. 5.9. That's huge, right? So what does that do? A reminder of what does that do? When we have the interest rate go down, it allows buyers to buy more for their money, right? You have a lower interest rate, and I don't know. A lot of my buyers, they have a payment that they need to stick to, right? They need a payment of $2,200, right? So they're going to be looking at houses that get them that payment. We don't want to go further than that, right? So when they have a lower interest rate, we can technically look at houses that are higher in price because we can get them more house for the money that they can pay, right? This is a big deal for buyers right now. Huge deal for buyers right now. I also have heard whispers on the wind that some credit scores have gotten dropped. Don't know that for sure, so don't quote me on that one, right? But I have heard that we have there's some big deal loan companies that are like, you know what, we'll be okay with a 550. Huh? Used to be like 620. So again, you are a lender watching me. I need you to chime in and say whether or not that's the case for your company. All right. Edna, I need to message you about a property. Absolutely, Edna. Send me the information and I'll get whatever you need to get, okay? We'll get the information for you. I have a couple of buyers that are trying to get their first homes, and then I have a couple of buyers that are actually looking to lease commercial buildings, and so it's been an interesting little growth thing for me. But you can see right now with what I have up on the screen, this number right here, that number of days to sell, that's nice. That's nice. So what's going to happen? What I think is going to happen, at least. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you like for sure, right? But we've got an influx of buyers coming into the market, right? That means that we're going to have less days on the market for houses, right? Influx of buyers now we're going to have more buyers to the houses that are available. Okay. This is where like we start shifting into the buyer's market, and then we're going to start shifting into the seller's market, right? Because then the seller can be more picky. But right now, there's not a whole lot of buyers. We're getting influx, but it's not so much that we have multiple offer issues, right? We don't have that just yet. So if it's something that you've been waiting on, right now, get it right now. All right. Because now we've got the last couple of months, housing prices have dropped, right? So you're going to get more house for less money, right? But then you've got your interest rate that's just dropped. So now you can even get even more house for less money. Right now, guys. Right now. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to get everybody on board. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go buy. You get an influx of buyers. And within the next, excuse me, within the next, I would say if everything keeps doing what it's doing right now, right? I can see within the next 3 to 6 months, market will start to to shift in either direction, and that would be good. That would be good. We have literally been in a neutral market here in Lakeland since February of 2025, 2024. I want to say, hold on. I know it says it on here. Let's go to the next page. Yep, there we are. February of 2025. I love this report, by the way. I will use this a lot. And if this is something that you want, send me your email and I will send it over to you. Like I said, we can find out like the lowest priced house in Lakeland right now is 135. The highest priced house in Lakeland is 1.6. I want to go see that house. I want to go see the house. I want to tour the house. I just want to tour the house, right? You can see that as far as graphics go, we are getting some change, but it's very minor change, right? Very minor change. So you can see this right here. Time on the market. We are starting to get that decline right through there, right? We're starting to get that decline. So that's great news. That is great news. That's why we know that the market's kind of shifting in one direction or another. But right now, as is, if we look back over here, we are still neutral. Now we are on the buyer side of neutral. Before we were pretty close in the middle, but now we are more on the buyer side of neutral. So I would say if you are thinking about buying a house and you are a first-time home buyer, right now is the time to go ahead and start talking to your realtor, your real estate agent, whoever you trust. If you are not in Florida and you don't want to use me, find somebody that you trust, right? If you're in Florida and you're watching this, hello, hi, I'm your realtor. You want me to represent you, right? Right. Okay. But right now is definitely a time to start exploring that option. If you are needing to get on a path to home ownership, like I have several buyers that have contacted me, and for whatever reason, they just decided to get a new job a year ago. You need to be kind of on the job for 2 years unless it's the same industry, and then lenders will kind of look over it. So we have something like that where they're still having to kind of wait another year, but during that year, we're paying off debt, right? We're getting our credit a little bit better. We're not opening up any new accounts. We're just taking care of all the old accounts. We're saving up funds so that way we have down payment and all of the money we need for inspections and appraisals and all that good jazz, right? So I have buyers that we're working on those kinds of things. And then we have buyers that are actively getting approved right now so that way we can go look at houses. This has been an uptick in the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, I've had a lot more people reaching out to me, and we are working on getting them pre-approved or working them on a path to get pre-approved, right? This tells me that we are absolutely starting to kind of go into one direction. We're going into that buyer's direction right now, okay? We have it to 12 months, same job now for some programs. Sarah! And I see Gail. Gail's in here too. My Gail. Sarah, that's good. That's good. Now, that's not all programs, but some programs, right? Sarah, did you hear me earlier? I got from NerdWallet that we have today, as of today, the 30-year fixed rate is like 5.94. Does that sound about right to you? I know that it depends on a lot of things for people, but this is what I got off of NerdWallet today. So hopefully that's the right one, because I love NerdWallet and I would hate to hear that it's being inaccurate. But again, I say all of this about that interest rate. Your interest rate is very, very particular to you. All right, the program that you're going to get into. Sarah and I have talked about it on the show before. Like your FHA loan is going to be different than your conventional loan versus your USDA loan. Like there's a lot of, depending on the program, depends on what kind of interest rate you get. So when we talk about, oh, today's interest rate is this is a very generalized, very broad look at that interest rate. Okay. That is not, you can go and talk to your lender and go, well, I heard it's a 5.9 and I can get a 5.9. It depends on the program, depends on your score, depends on how it depends on a lot, right? Depends on a lot. As a free rate, okay. I know you were saying something cool the other day, but we're not gonna talk about it on live, all right? But Sarah's getting people approved over there, and it's looking good. All right. So the numbers wise, they're not really changing too drastically, but they are moving in a direction that shows that the market is going to be more favorable to buyers. Right now, though, here in Lakeland, still neutral. So that means that sellers don't have the upper hand, buyers don't have the upper hand. It's basically a negotiation at this point between both of them, right? I've seen some in the high fours. Are you kidding me, Sarah? High fours, interest rates in the high fours. Now, when she says that, she's saying that that was a cost, that it was bought to bring it down to that. All right. And we can talk about that later. But mid fives are the average for the past 6 months. I'm so excited. So the interest rates, though, did drop this week. Correct? Making sure I'm right. Y'all, if you're not figured this out yet, I suffer from like the worst imposter syndrome. Like I will sit here and I will look everything up and I'm educating myself and I'm researching and I'm going to, secured sites and I'm going to MLS and I'm talking to people and I'm getting all my numbers. And then I get up here and I'm like, hi. I get so worried that I'm saying the wrong thing. Laugh out loud. It is looking good, but yes, in the mid fives is looking average. Okay. All right. And at cost, we can get it below 5. All right. Again, we will talk about how to get your interest rate to go down. I will pull Sarah in. Sarah does Wednesday nights, right? Sarah, you do lives on Wednesday nights? I know I've posted her live before on my page, but I will have to do it again. But Sarah will go over the lending world side of things. So absolutely go follow her. Go follow her, Sarah Stiegler. And she is great at updating. There was a graphic that was going around also, speaking of numbers, what was the cost of renting. Let me see if I can find it for you guys, because that was a very interesting graphic. Sarah, I think you had it on your page. There was a couple of people that had it on their page, and I was very interested in it. It was just like a little receipt, and the little receipt, there we go. Yep, you had it on your page. I knew you did. Ha ha ha. Save image. All right. I'm saving images, downloads, so that way I can bring it into my little StreamYard over here. We're going to bring this into the StreamYard. All right. So this was circulated on Facebook by several different people. This thing right here. So yes, Sarah does Wednesday nights at 7:30. All right. So this little graphic has made its rounds through a bunch of different lenders that I've seen today. I know Kevin Dame of Neighborhood Loans, he had it up there. Sarah, of Nexa, she's had it up there. So a lot of lenders had this up. And it is the cost of waiting. The cost of, okay, right now rates are great. Housing prices kind of have come down a bit from what they were. So what's the cost of waiting? And you can see, like, in 2019, the median house price was 322,000. In 2025, and this is not area specific. So we know that we've been looking at our median house prices, and our median house prices are, let's do this. Let's go back to that right there. Our median house prices are 319. All right. So this is another state. Okay. Median house prices, though, in 2019 was 322,000. 2025, 417,000. The price increase from those 2 years is 95,000. In 6 years, you paid $54,000 in rent. Okay. When we talk about you renting a house, and why these numbers are important, is that I'm absolutely an advocate of doing what is right for you financially and doing what is right for you for your situation. If you're renting and you like to buy, this is what renting does. Renting takes away your money but doesn't add to it, right? If you were actually paying your mortgage, part of your mortgage would go into that equity savings account, right? So that increase of 95,000, is your savings account. You've been paying into that, right? You've been paying into your equity. So say, yeah, it's increased by 95,000, but you paid off 54,000. That's where that $149,000 came into play. Like, you could have had that as a savings. And that is nice to have in case if you need to borrow against it for any reason. I know people borrow against it to put their kids through school, right? So it just depends on what you need to do. I've seen people borrow against it in order to buy another house, right? It's like, that's what they did. So the cost of waiting is this. If you can afford to start that savings account, and I know days are rough. I know modern times are rough, all right? And that we're not all have the savings that we can. But let's try to get you some down payment assistance. Let's try to save up a little bit, like $3,500. The very least I say is $3,500 so we can get our inspections and our appraisals and all that stuff cleared, right? And we'll see if we can get you closing costs, and we can see about getting down payment assistance. That's what I say. But I get it. It's hard to move away from renting because all your money is now going into renting, right? Yeah. If you can do it, you'll build wealth faster by buying a home. And that's it. That's the only reason I say do it. Okay. Gail, I went to school with Kevin. Really? You went to school with Kevin? Oh my God, that's crazy. That is crazy. My mom and his mom worked together at Pepperidge Farms. Oh my God, that is small world. I'm telling you, Lakeland is a little big town. Everybody knows everybody. We've got a population of 106,000 people. And there's people that I know that I run into all the time. Yeah. FHA 100 or FHA 5% finance your own down payment assistant. Yes. Sarah and I have been on the show before, and Sarah's talked about how this is, when we talk about down payment assistance, you're not getting money for free. You are basically financing a second mortgage. Now we'll look at that old show. We'll look at that old show because there are things that can happen in order for that second mortgage to go away. And Sarah's talked about it before. So, all right, my lovelies. Lesson for tonight. Interest rates are down. We are still in a neutral market, but days on market are going down, which means we're getting more buyers on this market. getting more buyers on this market. So if this is something you want to do, and 2026 is the year that you're like, I'm buying a home, let's talk. Let's see what we can do for you and how fast we can do that for you. All right. All right. My lovelies, as per always, I want to say be happy, be safe, and know that I love you, because if people can hate for no reason, I can love for no reason. All right. Next week, we have Emily Boltman coming on, Inspector Extraordinaire. So don't miss us next week, Tuesday, to True Talk Tuesday, 8 p.m. And bring your inspection questions, because I told Emily to be ready for them. All right. Good night, my lovelies.